Rather than lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. This is a video I did not expect to do this summer. And I'm sitting here and I'm talking about Stan Kroenke withholding transfer fees. And apparently he's not going to give us money to spend this transfer market. It is absolutely appalling. News coming out shows that Mikel Arteta is absolutely fuming, frustrated, and he is disappointed in what is happening. But of course, when you trust the Kroenkes, when you back the Kroenkes, that is what really happens. We're going to talk about this situation and where it is coming from and where it could lead Arsenal in the coming seasons and also years, because a lot of clubs are spending right now. Liverpool have just spent 100 million. United are looking to spend almost 200, 300 million. Spurs are on the verge of bringing in Richarlison, 60 million euros. Clubs are spending, and what we get from the Kroenkes right about now is they are sorry, they do not have money to spend. This is absolutely preposterous. And first and foremost, let me come down and tell you what is happening at the moment, right? So today in the morning, I reported just a little bit that Mikel Arteta was a little bit frustrated with the lack of money and the way deals were being handled at Arsenal this summer. He expects Gabriel Jesus to be already done. He expects the likes of Yuri Tillemans to be already done. He's spoken to the players personally. He has agreed with them to join Arsenal Football Club. So earlier on, of course, he was promised 200 million, according to The Athletic, according to The Sun. He was promised close to 200 million to spend this summer, including player sales, including players that will be leaving the club. Arsenal were expected to spend 200 million euros. And of course, he came out and said, this summer we're going to be spending money. We want to bring in some quality. We want to add maturity to the side, but also we want to broaden the squad depth of the team to be able to compete at the top level. And they gave him a contract before the season ended. Personally, I didn't look at it very skeptically, because I said, look, he's done a very good job. So giving him a contract before the season ends, is kind of a sign to show that Arsenal, the Stan Kroenkes trust him and they're ready to back the project that they have started with him. News coming up right now, lads. News coming up right now shows that the Kroenkes are withholding transfer fees and they are second guessing. They're thinking twice about giving Arsenal the promised funds, to spend in the summer. They said they were going to give us 100 million euros to spend on the striker position. They said they were going to spend money on the central midfield, and they said they were going to spend money on strengthening the defense. Mikel Arteta was quite sure of that. And if you remember all the transfer videos we did before the season ended, Mikel Arteta was actually there were no transfer videos. There were press conference reactions. Mikel Arteta was absolutely, convinced, he was absolutely confident that he was going to get signs, that he was going to bring in players. And whenever he was asked about quality and squad depth, he would say, look, this summer is going to be a huge one. We are looking to upgrade the squad. We're looking to upgrade quality and everything like that. And for me, this is the last one. This is the last that Kroenke can do. He's fooled Arsenal fans for a while. And last summer, I usually said it. I said it last summer that could be a summer where he spent money, where they spent 150 million euros, which was not even big money, but they spent 150 million euros to make sure that the Arsenal fans shut up. There was the saga of the Super League. There was that saga, and of course we had the Daniel Ek bid coming in. Arsenal fans were pushing for Daniel Ek to buy the club. So the Kroenkes, out of shame, out of despair, they were absolutely desperate. They wanted to continue holding Arsenal captive. They released 150 million pounds in a very difficult situation, if you still remember, because the economy of many economies of clubs were coming in from was suffering from blows of the pandemic. And we thought, look, if they've spent 150 million pounds, maybe this is the start of the Kroenkes. That was an absolute lie. Right about now, while the fans are back in the pitch, Arsenal have qualified back for Europe. There is money to spend. The money is there. Season tickets have been sold. Daily daily match tickets have been sold. And the Kroenkes now want to walk away with the money. They do not want to inject. It's appalling. It is absolutely appalling. And I know what is very, very shameful for me on this podcast, right, lads, is that you told me, Cossy, do not trust the Kroenkes. Cossy, the Kroenkes are not going to back us. Cossy, the Kroenkes are not trustworthy. And I said, look, let's give them a chance. Let's listen to this, to them, basing on what happened last summer. But you are absolutely right. These mugs, these pricks, these absolute imbeciles are now thinking, are now second guessing that the money they gave us, the 150 million pounds they gave us, is all we deserve. This football club has made them millions and millions of money, and if they stay here for as long as they want, that money is going to turn to billions of money, and they do not want to spend on it. That is what I do not understand. I've already said that, look, the Kroenkes, if they do not want to spend money on Arsenal Football Club as a club that is very, very far away, from them emotionally, then they should cash in on the asset. But the truth is that they are earning a lot of money while injecting nothing in the Arsenal project for a very, very long period of time. The 150 million they gave us, that is not big money, really. That's not big money for the money they are making out of Arsenal Football Club. Right now, to turn on their words, they should be ashamed. They should absolutely be ashamed. You cannot tell us. For Christ's sake, the transfer window opened yesterday. It opened yesterday on the 10th of June. That is when the transfer window opened, and these pricks are saying Arsenal will not be spending the money we ought to spend, the money the club has made. We are not spending that money. Now, the problem for me, lads, is one or two, actually, or three. There's so many problems with this. Number one, Mikel Arteta has built this project on the pseudo hope that the Kroenkes are going to be reasonable, they're going to back him, and they're not going to throw him under the bus, and they will not, hang him out to dry. The truth is, this project is a Mikel Arteta project. If Mikel decides to walk away, if he walks away from this project, which kind of manager is going to come in and take on this group of players, a group of players that is, being nurtured because of hope and not because of, their quality? It is being nurtured because of the future, because of potential, because they have a lot of potential to become into great players. They're not together. They're not here because they're world-class players. They're here because Mikel has selected them as suitable for the project. So that means if Mikel Arteta leaves and this clown Edu, who we'll talk about in a minute, if Mikel leaves, the project crashes, and then we are going to go back to square one, building again. Where do you have that time? Newcastle are signing the likes of Steven Botman. They're looking at the likes of Hugo Ekitike. They're bringing in signings that you think at the level Arsenal should be bringing in. Because Steven Botman, for me, is a world-class signing. Bruno Guimaraes is a world-class signing. Those are big names. Those are players that very, very soon will become, world class. And the fact that now the Kroenkes are saying, we do not have the money to compete with Newcastle. They're technically saying we don't have money to compete with Newcastle. We don't have money to compete with Tottenham. We don't have money to compete with United, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Manchester City. Those are 6 fucking big clubs. Where does that leave us as a club? Where does that leave us as a club? They do not have money to compete with 6 big clubs. That means in the next years to come, in the next seasons to come, finishing 7th, finishing 8th for Arsenal is going to be a guarantee. It's going to be, it's going to be a trophy, right? Forget this season. We finished 5th. We should have finished 4th. We finished 4th. We finished 5th because clubs have been doing absolutely poorly. The first half of the season, Tottenham Hotspur were an absolute shambles. They had to change the manager. They had to bring in January transfer signings. And you saw the impact Antonio Conte made. A world-class manager, a manager that was available, but the times and conditions that he set were never going to be met by the Kroenkes, and that is when we should have seen. That is when I should have seen it. But honestly, we bottled it. We have bottled it. Staying with the Kroenkes is the biggest mistake Arsenal has ever made in their lives as as a club. These pricks do not care. Look, I really, really, really am angry. I want to use very big abusive words, but I don't want to do that on this podcast. But look, listen. So, let's take a scenario where Manchester United spend 150 million this summer, because that is all they need. They could just get in Frankie de Jong for probably, if they can't get Frankie, they could just get in someone. They could go for a Bissouma, only 35 million euros, correct their midfield for around 50 million euros, get on that forward line, correct it for around 50 million euros, and then get to the back line and also spend 50 million euros. And United are back to competing with the big boys because they have the quality in that side, the likes of Jadon Sancho, the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano, and the others, the likes of Rafael Varane. If they spend 150 million euros, they will be out of our reach. They have a world-class manager right now. Spurs, the same. They just need to spend only 100 million euros or even less than that, and they will be back to the top. Liverpool, Manchester City, those ones, don't even think about it. They are miles away. They are really, really miles away. So this is the campaign. This is the summer when Arsenal have to start preparing, fighting against Liverpool, fighting against Manchester City, because they're at a very different class, right? So the Kroenkes are never gonna take us to that level. Look, that scammer Edu is an absolute prick, because last summer he said, look, we've laid the foundation, and now we're going to be bringing in big signings. We're going to be bringing in huge signings. We're going to be bringing in, big names. That was all an absolute scam. That was all an absolute nonsense. Because right now, you're struggling to bring in Gabriel Jesus and Yuri Tillemans. Those are not the players we should be going for. This summer, for me, we should be going for Darwin Núñez. We should be looking at Lautaro Martinez. And the fact that we're shying away from those players, giving every kind of reason they're not good enough. They're not good enough for the project. Those are players that are world class. Those are players that are played at a top level. Those are players that Arsenal should be bringing in. First and foremost, Gnabry is available, and they say 100 million euros for 5 years is absolutely too high, too huge. When you want to compete with Liverpool, when you want to compete with Manchester City, you've said this club wants to go back to the level it has to be. That is winning trophies. We have 13 league titles. We are the third in the division in the UK. 13 league titles. If you want to take Arsenal back to the level, it is to win more titles. It is to win more Premier League titles. You can't do that while Liverpool are spending 100 million on Darwin Núñez. City are spending 65, 75 million on Erling Haaland, and you're struggling to spend 30 million euros on Yuri Tillemans and 45 million euros on Gabriel Jesus, and you want to, because of one transfer summer, 150, you want to announce yourself, declare yourself bankrupt. Absolute pricks. Total pricks. They should be embarrassed. The Kroenkes at this point in time, lads, they should be embarrassed. They should think about themselves. They should think about this club and the glory it deserves. This football club. Where are we going to be? How am I going to sit in a football season in, season out, knowing that there is no silverware because Chelsea, Liverpool, City, and Newcastle and United are going to win everything. How are we going to sit in every single campaign, knowing that we cannot finish in the first 5 positions? That the big four is totally completely done. These pricks should leave as soon as possible. I'm disgusted. I'm absolutely disgusted. That is the worst piece of news I thought I would react to. Even if the Gabriel Jesus deal failed, I would be absolutely okay because there's so many other strikers on the market. But the Kroenkes trying to get back to their words, trying to fool their fans, trying to become absolute scammers. Give us a break. Give us a break. If you don't want to invest in this team, sell it. Sell it. As simple as that. So lads, that's the story. I'm absolutely devastated. News coming in is that the Kroenkes are thinking a second guessing, a second thinking about investing in the club. So if you do not see money come through the window this day, this window, if you see Arsenal bringing in shit signings, for me this window should be 6-7 quality signings. 6-7. Two central midfielders, two players in midfield, two players up top, a backup left back, a backup right back, a backup goalkeeper should be coming in, and a backup left center back. Those signings should be automatic. It is going to be do or die next season. We don't have time for the Kroenke's nonsense. They should just stop this nonsense, lads. I'm out. I'll be back when I get, when we talk about the likes of Leno. I've seen a couple of stories, Leno, Bowen, Granit Xhaka, but I want to talk about that first. Kroenke's, they should absolutely man up. This is absolutely embarrassing. They should be embarrassed of themselves. See you.